Well, hi there, everybody. You're traveling, as I always say, with Jack and my heavenly wife, Pam. And today I come to you as part of the grief journey. And I'm in a beautiful park here in Medford, Oregon right now. Just got through taking a nice walk, and it's a really, really pleasant day. Now, I wanted to talk to you about just a quick little update. I know some of my last few messages have been pretty deep, and they may not have been filled with all the happy-go-lucky joy that you were looking to find. But I just wanted to let you know that it doesn't mean that we're sad all the time. But it is part of this grief journey, this crappy club that we're all members of, because I think we'd agree the price of admission was far, far too high. But today I wanted to give you maybe a little message of hope, because it is out there, no matter how difficult you may think it is. And a couple of things, because I've had a couple of people send me notes saying, well, how do you keep moving forward? And that is the key. Remember, we talk about that. We move forward, we don't necessarily move on. And so I thought about it for a little bit. And first of all, back to some of the messages that may be rather deep and sometimes not so happy. As I mentioned, that's part of the healing process, because you need to talk about these things. If you don't, it just gets bottled up inside, and that's not healthy. I can tell you from firsthand experience. That's why I do these videos. Maybe you're not going to start doing videos, but maybe you could start doing some journaling, or just talking out loud, or finding a good friend. And it needs to be a good friend, because a lot of people are like, oh brother, I don't want to hear about this anymore, especially relatives sometimes, things like that. And we get it. You know, we used to be on the other side too. But I think that's really, really important though, is to talk about your feelings. Women are a little better at it. Or no, they're way better at it than men. I'm one of the few men out there that actually, I think, talks openly about these things. I'm not afraid to cry. I've told you before, crying is good. There's healing in those tears. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we've got to find purpose. And I know that's hard, because our lives are wrapped up around our husband or wife. Or maybe in your case, it could have been a child, it could have been a job. You know, we've talked about different levels of loss and things like that. For those of us that are still, not retired and still working for a living, maybe the purpose isn't necessarily just in the job. Maybe the purpose isn't having a grand retirement. Purpose could be just simple things that I do, like I do menu planners every weekend. I plan out what meals I'm going to be cooking for the next week. I plan out my shopping list. It gives me a task. It gives me purpose. Pam and I used to do that too, and I've kept it up. So that's something that you can do. It's also important to get out of the house and get exercise. Now, I'm not talking about getting out of the house, getting in your car, driving to your job, driving back to your garage, and going back in the house. I'm talking about what I'm doing right now. I try and walk anywhere from 2, sometimes up to 5 miles every day. On the weekends, I do hikes. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels better being out of the house. And maybe it's because we're out here in nature. We're not boxed in with those memories. There's a lot of distractions in the great outdoors. You know, birds, deer, raccoons. If you live in my part of the world, you might even see an elk, something like that. So that's the other thing. We want to diet and exercise. We talk about it. It is good, not just physical health, but for mental health as well. Also too, sleep, I know sometimes can be difficult. It was hard for me at first, and now I've got to where I can do it. One thing I've learned about it though too, because I work an oddball shift, I don't get home till midnight. You know, the last newscast I do at the TV stations at 11 o'clock at night. So by the time I'm home at midnight, people say, well, why don't you go right to bed? And I go, no, if you get off at 5 o'clock, you don't go to bed at 5:30. So I'm usually up till about 2:30 or so. You know, I'll watch a program, I might read something, I might do something on my YouTube channel, send emails. I'm doing some things. I also pray. I pray a good bit. I like to look at different Bible lessons and things like that. And then I go to bed, and I will sleep till about 10 or 10:30 to get that full 8 hours. Now, a lot of people are, why don't you get up earlier? Well, I don't want to feel run down all the time. So it's important to get that sleep. And that's why then too, I'm able to get out and exercise and feel pretty energized. Again, all these things are terribly, terribly difficult. But you can do it. You can do it. And I want you to do it. So rah, rah, there's your happy message today. I was also going to mention the other day, I had someone approach me about they wanted to talk about one of my grief videos. And I declined the invitation. And this is maybe another little tip for you. The reason was, I'm sure they wanted to give me some advice. But this was from someone who had not experienced the loss of a spouse like I had. And that's an area that's kind of roped off for us that are in this club. I love talking to those of you who have lost a husband or wife, and hopefully you enjoy hearing from me, because I get back to what we always say, we get it. Somebody on the outside, and I used to be on that outside fringe, and boy, I was filled with ideas about how I thought you should grieve and how you should be handling this and what you should be saying. I've told you before, I feel really guilty about my mother-in-law and the loss of her husband. My wife and I both, Pam and I both, we were pretty hard on her. After about a year, we're like, come on now, it's time to get going. Well, she was married 60 years to the man. It's hard. So I learned from this experience how to now approach someone who's lost someone. And I like to, something I read the other day, God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. For somebody like me that talks for a living, that can be hard. But we do benefit from one another in sharing this grief journey that we're on. Will it ever be perfect again? Probably not. Can it be good again? Probably so. Can we do it without effort? No. We've got to put forth the effort, okay? You guys have a great day, and as I always say, yeah, let's make this a good day, and if we can, let's make it a better tomorrow. If you think this video would possibly benefit someone, please share it. And please ask them to subscribe to our channel here, Traveling with Jack and Pam. You guys have a great one, okay? Bye now.